right, one last video and it scrolled up on me. We are going to turn this quadratic function into vertex form. So meaning the one that looks like this. So if you recall the very first section, 2-1, look like this. And we're going to turn it into vertex form. Now, way one is to graph it and just look for the vertex, and then you know your stretch because you know your A is -2. Another way to do that, because let's say you don't have a calculator on you, is to complete the square. So what that means is, first step, I'm going to move that constant over to join the y. Okay. Next, that would leave me with -2x squared plus 10x. Next, I am going to factor out that -2 because I always want my A to be 1. Okay, always want A to be 1. And then I'm going to have to add something right there. Remember that something is b/2 squared. All right, now here's the confusing part. Notice when I do that, I'm actually adding -2 times that b/2 squared because I did factor out that -2. So over here, I have -2 times b/2 squared that I am adding to it. So that is a little tricky. So then we have, on this side, -2 is x squared plus 5x plus 25/4. And remember that always factors as b/2 quantity squared. So you can write 5/2, or you could write 2.5. Does not matter. Things that I just realized. Let's go fix this. If you have caught this already, I am so proud. I factored out a -2 here. It was originally positive. When I factor out that negative, it makes this negative because a negative times a negative is the only way to get that positive. So all that does is change my signs down there. So a big error in the scheme of, hey, it's not the same graph, but an easily fixable error. All right, and then on this side, if I can, so take my calculator and combine my terms here, I'm going to get y minus 13.5. And yes, you could leave that as a fraction if you want. So then my final answer would be to add 13.5 to both sides. And to be consistent, I will use decimals. So x minus 2.5 quantity squared plus 13.5. So what does this mean? It means my vertex is at 2.5, 13.5. I also want to make you aware that, hey, everything in the world is not perfect. So this is not just an integer. It is a decimal, and that's okay. That is possible. And then the question asks, what is the maximum or minimum value of the graph? So since A is negative, I know that my graph looks like that without even looking at it. And then I know that that's my vertex by definition because this is vertex form. So looking at that picture, that must mean I have a maximum of 13.5 at x equals 2.5. How could I check my answer to make sure that that was right? Well, I would put both of them into Desmos. So what do I mean by both of them? The original was -2x squared plus 10x plus 1. Look at that vertex. It sounds familiar. So it sounds like I'm on the right track. Let's make sure. -2 times x minus 2.5 quantity squared plus 13.5. Oh, my 2.5 didn't graph there, just 2. There we go. And yes, they are the same, and that is the maximum value. So we have done it correctly. So I hope that you are seeing ways that all of these quadratic functions all tie in together, whether we're factoring, graphing, or solving. They all tie in together.